Yeah, is it audible to everyone? Okay, fine. Yeah, let's start. So far, we have seen different UI elements. Okay, we have seen different UI elements, and we have set what some properties for them, and we have handled some events related to those UI elements. Okay, so if you take a UI element called as what button, what is the property we are setting? Text property. And what is the event for this? On action. Then we have seen what? Input field. Okay, what is the property for this? Value property. What is the event for this? On enter. Right? On enter. What else? We have seen what? Table. Understood. For table, what is the important property? Is data source property. What is the event we have handled? On lead select. Okay. Then what else? We have seen what? Item item list box. What is the important property for this? Yes, data source property, and we have seen what? Text property. Yesterday, two properties we have said: data source property and what? Text property. What else we have seen? We have seen what? Text view UI element. For this, what is the important property? Text property. Am I clear? So these are the different UI elements we have seen. Similarly, we have a UI element called as a roadmap UI element. Roadmap UI element. So today we'll see an example to understand the concept of what? Roadmap UI element. So once, yeah, we have not handled, but you have to check the double click on that, check the properties. Yesterday, according to our requirement, we have not handled the event related to what? Item list box. Definitely every UI element or most of the UI elements will have what? Events. In our yesterday's requirement, after selecting the values in the list box, we clicked on the button. That's why we have handled what? On action. Suppose the moment I select a value here, if you want to do anything, check what is the corresponding event. Okay. So one second, let me connect to the Webdynpro server. Right. So let us understand the purpose of what? Roadmap UI element. So what is this roadmap UI element is? It is a collection of what? Roadmap steps. It is a collection of what? Roadmap steps. Okay. Just like if you take our normal app, we have tab strip control. Na? What is a tab strip control? It is a collection of what? Tab buttons. Each tab will contain what? Is associated with what? Subscreen. So when do we go for this tab strip control? Instead of placing all the fields in the same screen, in a single screen, we will separate the logically related fields in each tab. Okay, similarly in Webdynpro also, we have something called as roadmap UI element, which is a collection of what? Roadmap steps. Every roadmap step, okay, each step, each step is associated with a view. Each step is associated with a view. There we use subscreens. Here we will associate what? Views. Am I clear? Right. So we can navigate from what one step to another step. So to just to frame an example, when you are doing the installation of any software, we'll get a wizard kind of thing, na? Next, back, previous, something like that. Okay, when I click on the next button, next screen will appear. We have the option to what, go back, previous. Similarly, if you want to perform any what task as a sequence of steps, you'll go for what, roadmap. Just like just to frame an example, if you take the sales order process, first inquiry. Okay, inquiry, I'll put it in what, a view, right? Then we have what, purchase order. This I'll put it in what, another view. Okay, then what, sales order. This will put in what, view 3. Then what, invoice. Okay, this I'll put it in what, view 4. Then what, delivery. This I'll put it in what, view 5. So I'm performing what, a task as a sequence of what, steps. So instead of putting all the things in a single view, we are going to separate the logically related fields. Means all the inquiry related fields, I'll put it in what, view. All the purchase order fields in view to something like this. Okay. So you can visualize this roadmap similar to what, tab strip. Tab strip is a collection of tabs. Roadmap is a collection of what, roadmap steps. A tab is associated with what, subscreen. A roadmap step is associated with what, view. Okay, so I want something like this. So what I want is, I want a roadmap UI element, okay, which should contain how many steps, 3 steps. First step, second step, and what, third step. Each step is associated with what, view. What you can do in this view, I can display any content. Here I'm just displaying what, static content, like what, welcome to first view, welcome to second view, welcome to what, third view. Am I clear? So I'm just displaying the static text here. And then we have what, 2 buttons for navigating in the forward direction and navigating in what, backward direction. Okay, so overall I require 4 views. Overall I require what, 4 views. The main view will contain what, roadmap view element. So you can visualize something like this. In your module pool screen painter, you'll create what, yes, you'll create what, first you'll create what, normal screen. Normal screen. Okay, here this is nothing but I am putting it as what, yes, main view. Then on the normal screen, you'll take what, tab strip control, na? You'll take the tab strip control. So on the normal screen, you'll take the tab strip control, which you will visualize here as what, yes, roadmap. Am I clear? And here we are having what? How many tabs? 3 tabs. This is tab 1, right? This is tab 2, and this is tab 3. You visualize here as what? What? Step 1. Okay, this is what? Step 2, and this is what? Step 3. Am I clear? Under each tab, you'll place what? Subscreen. Understood? Under each tab, you'll place a subscreen. Okay, so here I'm calling it as what? Subscreen 1. Here I'll call it as what? Something what? View 1. Am I clear? Then here subscreen 2. This I'll call it as what? View 2. Like this you have to do the comparison. Okay. So when do we go for roadmap is, if you want to perform a task as a sequence of steps, we'll go for what? Roadmap UI element. So this is the overall requirement. My main view should contain what UI elements? Roadmap UI element, which should contain how many steps? 3 steps. Each step will have a name. What are the names I give? First step, second step, and what? Third step. Here each tab will contain what? Tab names, na? If you double click on the tab button, you will give the name. Here you will give what? Step name. Okay, done. Then each step should be associated with what? View. And we should have what? View container. What is a view container? As the name itself suggests, view container is a container of what? Views. In the last week or before that, what we have seen how to navigate from what, one view to another view. Those views are available separately, but here I am going to embed one view on top of what, another view. For that, What is the UI element I require? View container. So my main view should contain a roadmap UI element with the 3 steps, and it should contain one view container for embedding the views, and it should have 2 push buttons. Okay. So what is the context I require here? Since I'm going to create the context directly at what view level, I'll create a node. Okay, at a time I can select only one step now. Here, if you take the tab also, can I select multiple tabs at a time? No. Here also I can see only what? I can select only one step at a time. So cardinality is what? 1:1. Under this node, I am going to give what? A attribute type what? String. The purpose of this attribute is it has to hold what? Step name. So this is the overall requirement. Hope it's clear. Done. So let me do it in a sequence. I'll connect to the server. I've shared the recordings yesterday. Hmm? Check it. फिर चले जाता हूँ. I'll extend for 2 3 days, but check the mails regularly, na? Right? So preview that recordings. Okay. So once you are strong in the basics, now you can do any kind of development. Right. So I'll go to what? Object navigator. So overall, how many views I require? 4 views. I require 4 views. One is main view, and there is 3 sub views. Okay, so let me develop a view first. So I'll go to Object Navigator. Right. So in the drop down, I'll choose what? Webdynpro component. I'll use the component name as something Z10M WD9. 8 is already there, I think. Okay, Z10M WD9. Right. Webdynpro component does not exist. Create the object. Right, I'll give the window name as underscore window. I'll give the description as something roadmap UI element, and overall I require how many views? 4 views. I can give the names as v1, v2, v3, v4, but I'll give the parent view name as what? Main view, and sub view names as what? v1, v2, v3. So let the view name is what? Main. Done. So a individual view is created here. The name of this is what? Main view. I'll save it in the local object. Done. Okay, so this is my main view. Done, done, done. Then under this main view, so already we know before we design the layout, we have to visualize the layout. Based on that visualization, we have to create what? Context. So my main view should contain what? 2 buttons. Buttons doesn't require any context. Okay, and I require a view container. It is also doesn't require any context. But whereas roadmap UI element requires what? Context, because we are going to what? Hold the step name. So this is the context I require. Let me create the context. So in the main view, let me open it in editable mode. In the view context, under what? Root context. Right click on the root context. I'll create what? Note. I'll give the node name as something what? Roadmap underscore node. Cardinality by default 1:1. Why 1:1 here? Because at a time I can select only what? One step. I can hold only one step name. So cardinality is 1:1. So a blank node is created. Under this node, let us create one attribute. You can give any name for the attribute. Let me give a meaningful name as what? Step. So right click on our node, create what? Attribute. I'll give the attribute name as what? Something step. Step name is always what? String. So step type what? String. Done. So my context is what? Ready. Now design what? Layout. So what is the layout I require here? I need to create first what? Roadmap UI element. So as usual, right click on what? Root element container, insert what? Element id. You can give any id for the elements. I'll give it as rmap something. Rmap type, I'll give it as what? Yes, what is the type? Roadmap. The type of UI element is what? Roadmap. Done. So when I continue here, done. So roadmap UI element is what? Created. Okay, so when I do syntax check here, uh, it is giving one information warning. Accessibility description is not set for the element what? Rmap. So you can see here it is a blank roadmap, doesn't have any steps. Okay, so just like tab strip is a collection of tabs, roadmap is a collection of what? Roadmap steps. So what you have to do? Right click on the roadmap. Don't right click on what? Root element container. Right click on the roadmap. Okay, right click on the roadmap and say what? Insert what? Step. Okay, insert step. It is asking the id. Let me give the id as something what? First something. Okay, type it is asking. What is the type here? Roadmap step. This is also another UI element. Roadmap is a UI element. Roadmap step is also what? A UI element. Okay, so done. So you can observe here one step got created. What is the UI element type? Roadmap step. What is the ID here? First. Okay, done. Then again right click on what? Rmap, insert step. I'll give the ID as something what? Or else I'll just remove this. I'm removing this step. Clear? So what I'll do is right click on this, insert what? Step. I'll give the ID as what? I'll give the ID as what? Step 1. Okay. What is the type? Roadmap step. Done. Now what I'll do is see here. For this roadmap step, there is a property what? Name. I'll give the name as what? What? First. I'll give the name as what? First. So you can observe here. What is appearing here? First. Is it clear? Or else I'll give the name as what? First step. ID also. I'll just give it as what? First. So let's see what happens. Is it clear? Save it. Check it. Done. No problem. Done. So what happened here? I created one roadmap step. What is the idea of this? First, what is the name I give? First step. Similarly, right click on the RMap, insert step. I'll give the name as what? What shall I give? Second, what is the type? Roadmap step. I'll give the name as second step. Then again, right click on the roadmap, insert step. I'll give the ID as something third. Type is what? Roadmap step. I'll give the name as third step. So overall, we are having what? 3 roadmap steps. Save it, check it. Still I am getting what? A warning. Accessibility description is not set for the element what? RMap. So if you go to RMap, there is a property called as what? Accessibility description. Okay, so I'll just give the description as something hello. Let me check whether it is avoided or not. So I gave it as what? Hello. Let me save it. Check for the syntax error. No errors. It's like a tooltip kind of thing. So I'll do one thing. Let me remove this hello. I'll not set it. So again I'll get what? What? A warning kind of thing. What is the warning I got here? Active description not set for the element what? RMap. Done. Now what you have to do is see this. It is important. For this RMap, okay, if you scroll down, one second please. Yeah, for this RMap, one second. Yeah, for this RMap here, if you scroll down, okay, there is an event here. What is this event? On select. So what I'll do here, I'll just Click on this on select. It is again asking what? Action name. So I'll give the action name as something selected what? Step, or else I'll do one thing. I will not give any action for the timing. Leave it. Leave it. Okay, later on we'll come back to this. So what I did here, I'll just summarize. I created only one view. In that view, what I did initially, I created what? Roadmap UI element. Under roadmap UI element, I created three roadmap steps. What are the IDs of the roadmap steps? First, second, and what? Third. I need to refer to the IDs. First, second, and what? Third are the IDs of the step names. Okay, done. Keep this in mind. Now, yeah. What else we require here? The main view, what it should contain? Yes, view container. Why we have to take view container? Because we have to embed what? Other views. So within the same view, right? Under this root element container, insert element, I'll give the idea as something what? We can't. What is the type here? View container UI element. Am I clear? This is another type of what? UI element. View container UI element continue. Done. So view container UI element is what? Created. Done. What is the purpose of view container? To hold what? Views. It can be either internal views or it can be what? External views. What do you mean by internal view? What is the purpose of view container? It is used for holding either internal views or external views. Internal views means the view which belongs to the same component. External view means the view which belongs to other components. So as of now, I am going to embed only what? Internal view. During the course we will embed what? External view. Done. Then what else I require? Two push buttons na? For navigating in the forward direction and what? Backward direction. So I click on the root element container, insert element. I'll give the ID as what? B1. What is the type? Button. So for the button UI element, I'll give the text as what shall I give? Next, for the button, what is the event? On action. So this is the on action event. I'll give the action name. What is the action name? I'll give any name I can give. So what I'm doing? Navigate to what? Next step. Done. Okay. Similarly, I'll create another button. Right click on this, insert element. I'll give what? B2. Type is what? Again what? Again what? Button only. For the button again, I'll give the text. Let me give the text as what? Previous. Let me give the action for this. Again on action event. I'll give the action name as what? Any action name. Okay. Some description. Done. So I created the actions for what? Both the button. So my main view is what? Ready. Okay. So we'll address these warnings later on. Just ignore it. Right. So at this stage we have only what? One view. And this default window contains what? The default view. What is the default view here? Main. Let me create the application. Create what? Webdynpro application. Application gets created. Let me activate the component. Component is getting activated. Right. So now let me run the application. When I test it, done. So what happened here? How many steps we have? Three steps. First step, second step, and third step. And we are able to see two buttons. In between these two, we are having what? In between these steps and push buttons, what we have? View container. Na? Are we able to see the view container there? No. What is the purpose of view container? To hold the views. To hold the views. So my requirement here is whenever my main view, this is the main view now. Whenever my main view is displayed, by default, what step should be highlighted? First step should be highlighted. And since the first step is highlighted, by default, which view it has to show? V1. Okay, so first what I'll do is let me prepare these three views. Let me prepare these three views V1, V2, and what? V3. Online, hope it's clear to everyone. So, what is the initial requirement? By default, first step should be highlighted, I mean to say selected, and that selected step should be associated with the default view. Na? What is the default view in my context? V1. So, first of all, let me create all those three views. Done. So how do you create the views? Right click on the view, say what? Create. I'll give the view name as what? Yes, v1. Description I'll give it as what? V1. Done. Okay. So in this view, in these views, I'm not dealing with any dynamic data. Just I want to display what? Static text. I'm sorry. Am I clear? This views, I am not dealing with any data in the runtime. Just I want to display some static text. So since it is only static text, I don't require any context for these views na? Because I'm not dealing with what? Data. Context is required only when I'm dealing with what? Dynamic data. So since I don't require context, directly let me design the layout. Right click on the root element container. I'll give the idea as something what? TV1. What is the type? Text view. Okay, text view UI element. What is the property I have to set for this? Text. I'll give the text as what? Welcome to view what? V1. Okay, welcome to view 1. Similarly, repeat this process for what? Other two views. Create. What is this? V2. I'll give the description as view 2. Done. Again, right click on this, insert element. I'll give the ID. TV1. What is this? Text view. I'll give the text view text as what? Welcome to view what? V2. Okay, done. Then let me save it. Right. This is across the views, na Amit. This is right. This is across the views. So I can give the same ID. If it is within the same view, there should not be two elements with the same ID. Okay. So right click on the view, create. What is the other view I have to create? V3. If it is not allowing, we'll change the IDs. What is the this thing? View 3. Okay, so let me right click on this, insert element. I'll give the ID as what? TV1. What is the text view? Here also, I'll give the ID as text as welcome to view V3. So overall, we are having how many views? Four views. Am I clear? We are having four views done. Okay, out of four views, what is the view which we have embedded to the window? What is the view which you embedded to the window? Main view, na? If you go to the window level, only main view is what? Embedded. That's why when I activate and execute, I'm activating once again. right? So when I right click, when I say what, test, done. Okay, so I'm not getting any errors, but still you can observe, we are having three more views, V1, V2 and what, V3, but none of the views are shown here. Na? So what you have to do now, I have to write some logic to select which step by default, first step, to select which step, first step, and that first step should be associated with the which view, V1. Acha, one more thing, see the appearance, it is important. When I test it, I am moving the cursor on my steps. Am I able to select here? I'm unable to do any interaction on these steps. Is it clear? So what I'll do is, let me go back to my main view. In my main view, for the roadmap UI element, I'll set a event called as what? On select. For the roadmap UI element, on select event, I'll give the action name. So I'll give the action name as something, what? Selected step. I'll give the description. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I do this, I'm sorry. Before I do this, yeah, there is a property for this. What is the property I see? For the roadmap UI element, what is the important property here? Selected step. What is the warning I am getting so far? Accessibility description is not set for the element what? Roadmap. So for the roadmap UI element, I'll set a property called as what? Selected step. I'll just click on the selected step binding. Good. What is highlighted? What is highlighted? Acha. Okay. I'll do one thing. Let me cancel this. What is the context I created? One node I created. Under that node I created what? One attribute. Now for your reference, let me directly create one attribute under root context. So I'll give what, str type what string. So this is my context. One node, under that node we have one attribute and we have one direct attribute under what? Root context. So why I'm doing like this is, I'll go back to the layout. I'll select the roadmap view element. There is a property what? Selected step. I'll click on what? Binding. Understood? Create binding. I'll click on this binding. Good. What is highlighted here? What is highlighted? Node is not highlighted. What is highlighted? Attribute of a node or what? A direct attribute. Attribute of a node or what? A direct attribute. So what is the meaning? This selected step I cannot bind with what? Node. I can bind with what? Either individual attribute or attribute of a node. So in this context, let me go for what? Attribute of a node. So I'll go for attribute of a node. Done. Save it. Check it. Okay, still I am getting the warning message, just ignore it for the time being. Done. So check it. Let me activate this. So what is the change I have done? For the roadmap UI element, what is the property I have set? What is the property? Yes, selected step. So interview perspective, we should remember most commonly UI elements, the important properties for what? Each UI element and the corresponding events. That entire thing is nothing but our Webdynpro. Okay, done. So now, yeah, let me activate this once. Yeah, let me execute now. When I execute, so what is the change I have done? For the roadmap view element, what is the property I have set? Selected step. So let me check any change in the appearance. Test it. Still there is no what? Change. So now what is the requirement now? I have to by default select which step? First step. So tell me where I have to write the logic. WD do init method of which view? Main view, because that is the view which is shown to us now. So in the main view itself, I'll go to what? WD do init. What is the logic I have to write? I have to write the logic to select the first step by default. I have to write the logic to select the first step by default. What are the IDs of your steps? What are the IDs of your step? First, second, and what? Third, right? If you go to the layout, in the layout for under roadmap, we have created what? Three roadmap steps. Three roadmap steps. IDs are what? First, second, and what? Third. Right? So I have to set this is binded with what? What is that attribute? Step. Okay, so see the technique here. I'll go to methods tab in the WD What? What you have to do? I have to make what? First step to be selected. So our roadmap view element in the layout, what is the property I have binded? Selected step. To what I have binded? I have binded to what? An attribute called as step. So I have to set the value for what? I have to set the value for what? The attribute called as what? Step. Because selected step property are binded with what? To the step attribute of the node. Na? So I have to set the value for this attribute. Means how do you set? First of all, you have to get the reference of what? This node. Using that reference, I have to set the value of this. How do you set the value of individual attribute? Set attribute. Okay, it's the same concept here. So what I'll do here in the this thing, first step is what? Get the reference of the node. Which node? Roadmap underscore node. Acha. Do I need to declare this reference globally or locally? Hmm? I have to set the value for this attribute. Means first of all, you have to get the reference of this. Using that reference, I can set the value for this particular attribute. Now, question is, should I declare that reference locally or should I declare it as an attribute? At this stage, I don't know. At this stage, I don't know. So I'll go for what? Locally. So first, let me do it locally only. Data what? How do you do it? Context underscore what? Roadmap underscore node type. Ref to what is the interface? If underscore w underscore context underscore what? Node. So I declared a what? A reference. Done. Get the reference. It is under the child of root na. So same logic. If wd what? Context node. How do you get the reference of child nodes? Get child node. Get child node. What is the name of the node? What is the name of the node? Roadmap underscore node. So instead of hard coding, I'll refer to what? What? The context. Sorry, I'll refer to the constant. Okay, how do you refer? W underscore what? Sorry. W underscore this arrow operator. What is this? WCTX underscore node name. What is the node name? Roadmap underscore. Understood? Already we discussed. Na? If you go to my local what? Interface, what is the object of this? W underscore this. Inside this interface, already we have seen one constant gets generated now. What is the constant name? WCTX underscore node name. Type string value is what? Our node name. So instead of hard coding the node name, I am referring to what? The attribute. Done. What is the reference? Context underscore what? Roadmap underscore what? Node. Done. Okay, then if what? Context underscore roadmap underscore node is what? If it is bound. Understood? If it is bound, what I have to do now? I have to set the value for which attribute? Step. Okay, so set the value for the what? Set the value for the node attribute. What is the attribute name? Step. How do you set the value for attribute? Set attribute by using the reference. This attribute is what type? String. So it is expecting a string value, right? So I'll go to pattern. What is the reference I got? Context underscore what? Roadmap underscore node. What is that? In the same interface, what is the method we have? Set attribute, right? Set attribute. What is the value? Which step you have to select by default? First step. What is the idea of the first step? First. What is the name of the attribute? step. That's it. That's it. Nah? So I'm getting the reference of the node. Using that reference, I'm setting the value for the attribute what? Step. Why we have to set? This is the attribute which is binded to that selected sub property. Na? That's why I'm setting it to that. What is the value I'm setting? First. So let's see what happens. So when I execute, done. Let me execute now. So the moment I start the execution, it will execute this wd do init method. Right click and so on. Test. Good. Which is highlighted now? First step. Understood? Earlier nothing was highlighted. Now this is highlighted. Is it clear? If you want second one to be selected by default, give the value as what? Second. This is ID of what? ID of what? First step. Understood? That's what the IDs I gave. Na? Done. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? I'm expecting a question. No one is asking. Which step is highlighted? If the first step is highlighted, the corresponding view also should be displayed. Na? Which view we have to show? V1. Na? Understood? By default, first step that means the view one also have to show. So how do we show? Where you have to show? In the view container. Na? So what I'll do initially is here. I'll go to my window level. In my window level, we have embedded the main view. Na? This main view contains what? View container. What is the purpose of view container? To hold, not call, to hold the internal views or what? External views. As of now, I have to hold these three views, na? V1, V2 and what? V3. So see what I'll do. So far we are embedding the views to the window, na? Now I'll embed the views to what? View container. Am I clear? Earlier we have embedded the views to the window level. Now I am going to embed these three views to my view container of the main view. So see here, right click on what? At the window level, right click on view container, say what? Embed view. Okay. View to be embedded. What are the other views available in the same component? V1, V2 and what? Which as of now I am embedding the views which belongs to the same component. After 1 week or so, we'll embed what? External views. So I'll choose V1, done, done. Is it embedded here? See, V1 is embedded. Repeat this process for what? Other views. Right click on this and say embed view, or I'll just drag and drop V2 onto view container. Yes. Then I'll drag and drop V3 onto what? V container. Is it clear? So all the three views are embedded to what? View container. Is it clear? Save it, check it, activate it. So my view container is holding how many views? Three views. V1, V2 and what? V3. Now let me execute this. Yeah. See here what it is showing? It is showing that why it is showing V1? What is the first view available in the view container? V1. That's it. Is it clear? Since the V1 is the first view, it is showing the content of what? First view. Right? What is the next requirement now? Now, if I click on next, what should happen? It should go to the next step, and that selected step should display the associated view. That is the logic you have to write. Clear? I'll do one thing. Which step you highlighted? First step by default, na? So I'll do one change. I'll go back to my main view. In the wd do init method, I will say what? Wantedly I'll say what? Second. This is idea of what? Idea of what? Second step. So save it, check it, activate. Done. Let me execute this. Which is highlighted? Second step. So which view I have to show? V2. So what is showing here? V1. So what I have to do now? I have to write some logic to show what? Second view. Am I clear? So this entire thing is what view? Main view. This entire thing is main view. In the view container, it is showing the first view. So see the technique here. What I'll do is in the WD unit method only, right? If it is bound, we are setting the value for what? The node attribute what? Step. Okay, or set to the okay. So what I have to do here? Which view I have to show? View 2. Okay, so I have to fire what? Or I have to what? Show what? Second view. Okay, so in the main view I have to show what? Second view. So what I'll do, already we have discussed how to navigate from one view to what? Another view by creating what? Outbound plugs. So what I'll do in my main view, right? So from the main view, I may navigate to what? View 1 or what? View 2 or what? View 3, depending on the step I select. So what I'll do in the main view, I'll create 3 outbound plugs. So I'll say what? 2 what? V1. Next 2 what? V2. Understood? In the main view only I'm creating 3 outbound plugs. 2 what? V3. 2 what? View. Done. So 3 outbound plugs are what? Created. Done. Each outbound plug should be linked with the inbound plug, na? Right? So now I'll go back to the target views. What are the target views? V1. I'll go to the V1. Here I have to create what? Inbound plug. So I'll give the plug name as what? From what? From main. From main. Similarly, from in V2 also, I'll choose what? Inbound plug. I'll give the same name. Doesn't matter. From main. Then V3 inbound plug. What is that I should give? From what? Main. So I am creating corresponding inbound plugs in the target views. We have to establish the navigation link, na? Right? So where do we establish navigation link? At what? Window level. So see here at the window level, this is my main view which has got how many outbound plugs? 3 outbound plugs. Inbound plugs are available in what? Target views. So this 2v1 should be linked with what? This 2v1 should be linked with what? Inbound plug of what? V1. So right click on what? Understood? These 3 are outbound plugs of what? Main view. Right click on what? 2v1. Create what? Navigation link. Destination view is what? V1. What is the inbound plug available there? Oh, browsers. What is the destination view? V1. What is the inbound plug available there? From main. So is it linked here? See? Done. Similarly, right click on what? To view 2. Create navigation link. What is the destination view? View 2. Here also we are having the same inbound plug name. What is this? From main. Done. Then what? Right click on 2v3. Create what? Navigation link. Destination view is what? V3. Here also the inbound plug name is what? From main. Done. So I have established the navigation link at what? Window level. Done. Okay. Now see the technique here. Okay. Still which one is shown? View 1. So what I have to do now? I have to show which view? Second view. So I have to fire the outbound plug to go to the second view now. How do we fire the outbound plug? By calling a method called as fire method. Already I have shown you, already explained in detail. For every outbound plug we create, SAP will generate what? One method with what name? Fire underscore outbound plug name underscore PLG, where that method is available in the local interface. If you go to the local interface, what is the local interface? If underscore main. Do we have that anywhere? See? Done. Understood? For every outbound plug, a corresponding method gets what? Generated. These are the methods of my interface. Na? What is the object of the interface? W underscore what? This. So what I will do in the init method, Since I'm highlighting what? Second step, I have to show what? Show second view. Fire what? Fire outbound plug to show what? Second view content by default. Okay, how do you fire? W underscore this of what? Fire underscore what? 2 V2 underscore what? PL. So this 2 V2 is linked with what? Is linked with what? Inbound plug of second view, na? So obviously it will navigate there. See now? Check it, done. I'll refresh here only. See, I'll refresh. Oh, okay. What happened, boss? Why? Might be I have not activated properly. Let me activate. Yeah, that's true. It is not activated. That should everything get should be what? Active mode. Now let me refresh my browser. Good. What it is showing? Okay. You understand the technique? So by default, I want the second step to be highlighted. So obviously the corresponding view should be shown now. So I am firing the appropriate outbound plug. Whenever you fire the outbound plug, it will go to the target view inbound plug now. What is the target view for this? V2. Clear? Huh? If you see from the main view at the window level, okay, this is the outbound plug we are firing. This is linked with what? Inbound plug of which view? Target is what? V2. That's the technique. Any questions so far? Please ask.
Oh, sir, you are directly moving from the main view to view 2, na? You are not firing from V1 and then moving to V, not moving to V2, right?
No, no. We are which is the parent view here? Main view.
Parent is the main view, yeah.
Okay. So from the main view only, we have to navigate to what? Target views. That's the reason I created the main views in what? Sorry, I created the outbound plugs in what? Main view. I created the 3 outbound plugs in what? Main view here, and I am firing that in the WD2 unit method of what? Main view only.
Okay. So here I am asking, can we fire from the V1 and then can we have the link between V1 to V2 like that?
No, no, see here.
It's not.
That's what the entire thing. Here, what
Okay.
is my agenda? They are not, I don't want to show them separately. Within the same thing, I want to show what? Subviews. Earlier, what we did in the last week, from V1, we are navigating it to what? V2 are like this. So what happens? At any point of time, browser will show only one view, na? Either this one or what? This one. But here I'm using what? Container, na? Container. So it will show the main view. In the main view, it has to show me the sub views. That's the reason I have embedded these views not to the window. I have embedded to what? View container, which is available in what? Main view. So what you have to understand here is we are seeing two views here at a time. One is what? Main view as well as what? V2. Okay, the purpose of roadmap step is what? Each step should be associated with sub view. At a time, I can see only one sub view. Okay, our agenda is not to navigate from V1 to what? V2 or V2 to V3. Now I am going to do it. Now if I click on this next, what you have to do now? I have to identify the currently selected step. I may select second step or what? Third step or first step. I have to identify the currently selected step and I have to go in what? Forward direction and reverse logic for what? Previous. Okay, let me do it, then it will be more clear. Okay, right. So now what is the next agenda here? I have to click on what? Next button. What is the event triggered? On action. Where is this button available? In the main view. Okay, so now let me go back to what? Main view only. In the main view. Okay, already we are in the action now. What is this? next step. What is the corresponding method? On action, next step, event handler method. So now, yeah, I have to write the logic here. What is the logic I have to do? What is the logic I have to write? If I click on the next button, I have to identify the currently selected step. Currently selected step means I need to refer to which property? Which property? Selected step. Binded with what attribute? Step means I have to read the value of this attribute na? If it is, excuse me please, 1 second. Hello. Okay, okay. Yeah. Yeah, forward this. I need to forward this. Call here, forward share. Okay, sure. Okay. Online, just hold on for a few minutes, huh? Just hold on for a few minutes. So restart. So what is the agenda now? We need to identify the currently selected step. Selected step is binded with which attribute? Step attribute. So what I have to do? I have to read the what? I have to read the value of what? This particular step. I have to read the value of this particular step, and then, yeah, and then what I have to do? I have to move to what? Next step. Okay, so see the technique here. Acha. Now you have to suggest me how to do it. How to read the value of this attribute? First of all, you have to read the reference of what? Nodes. Using that reference, how to read the value of any attribute? Get attribute. But again, we are getting the reference of the node. Na? Where you have to get the reference? In the on action event of the next button. Again, it is a redundancy. Na? So now I came to know that I require the reference what? At multiple places within the same view. Na? So what I'll do now? I'll make the necessary changes. Am I clear what I'm saying? Initially, I didn't got an idea when I'm implementing WD unit method. I'm not sure whether I require this reference at other place. So I declared what? Locally. So what is the adjustment I'll do now? I'll remove it from here. I'll declare what? Globally. What is this? Context underscore what? Roadmap underscore node if underscore wd underscore what? Context underscore what? Node. I declare a reference. The moment I declared any attribute here, what happens? A corresponding declaration will be available in the local interface. No? If you want, you cross check. Is it available? Yes, it is available. So now what I have to do in my program, what is the adjustment here? I have to prefix this with what? wd underscore what? This wd underscore this of what? So and so. Here also what? wd underscore this of what? So and so. Here also wd underscore this. Am I clear? So this kind of scenarios will come what? Going forward. Initially, we will not get an idea whether to declare it globally or what? Locally. In the development process, you'll understand what are the things you have to reuse. So I declare it globally. Done. Done. Anything else? Yeah, done. Okay, now I'll go back to what? This one. So what is the requirement here? I need not get the reference of that node because already we are having what? Global reference. So what I'll do here? If what? W underscore this of what? Context underscore what? Roadmap underscore node is what? Bound. If it is bound means if it is still available. If the object is available, what I have to do? Yes. Identify the what? Current what? Selected step. How to identify the current selected step? I have to read the value of this attribute. Na? What is the attribute name? Step. So how do you read the value of any attribute? Get attribute. So by using that reference, yeah, here. Acha. When I read the value of this attribute, it returns me what value? It returns me what? String value. So I have to declare one string variable. Na? How to declare? Data lv underscore str type what? String. No, it is not recommended to do like this now. So what I'll do, data lv underscore str type. Already we know on behalf of every node, what happens? A structure will be created and one internal table will be created now. So if I go to my local interface, yeah, do we have that? What is the structure? Element underscore node name. Under that, what is the field? Step. So what I'll do now? Tell me the technique. What I have to do? Type wd underscore what? This of what? Element underscore what? Roadmap underscore node hyphen what? Step. Am I clear? I'm not hard coding the data type. I'm referring to what? Dynamic references. Done. Now read the value of the attribute. Yes, what is this? Instead of set, it is what? Get attribute. Done. What is the name of the attribute? Step. Name of the attribute is what? Step. What is the value where you have to receive it? LV underscore what? STR. Done. Okay. Next. Next, what you'll do? Case what? LV underscore STR. When what? First do so and so. When what? Second. I don't know where we are. Okay. When what? Third, do so and so. End for case is what? End case. So when first means when I click on the first step, which view it has to show? First view, na? So what I have to do here? Yes. If the current selected step is first, I have to go to what? Second view, na? So fire what? Fire outbound plug to to navigate to what? Second view. Yes or no? If you are already at what? Second view, fire outbound plug to navigate to what? Yes, third view. If you are at the last step, there are two cases here. You have to indicate the user that you are already at the final step, or if you want clockwise direction, come back to what? What? First view. Fire what? Outbound plug to navigate to what? What? First view. So let us fire it now. Now tell me. Yes, how do you fire? We are in what? Main view now. WD underscore this. I have to navigate to what? Second view is what? Fire underscore what? To V2 to V2 underscore what? PLG. Okay. Now if I have to navigate to third view, what I have to do? WD underscore this of what? Fire underscore what? To V3 done. Then here W underscore this fire underscore 2 V1 underscore what? PLG. Done. Acha. Okay, if I click on this first step, I should go to what? Sorry, if I am already at the first step, if I click on the next, I am going to what? So we are displaying the corresponding view. But internally, what is the value of step? Still first only, na? Am I clear? Assume that you are at the first step. When I click on the next button, we are firing the what? Outbound plug to navigate to what? Second view. View is changed. But internally, what is the value of step? Still what? Still what? First only, na? Step value also should be changed to what? Second. So see the technique here. What I'll do here? I'll say, what is that? LV underscore str equal to what? Yes, second. And here what? LV underscore str equal to what? Yes, third. Then here what? LV underscore str equal to what? First. I am manipulating the value, but I have to set it back to the context. Na? So what you have to do? Set to the what? Modified what? Step value. How do you set? Set attribute. Yes, what is the value? LV underscore str. What is the name of the attribute? Step. That's all. Done. Sorry. This is not context boss. What is this? WD underscore this of what? Context roadmap node. Done. Let me cross check and then I'll explain. Here also, it is not only context. What is this? WD underscore this. Clear? So first let me check it. Then I'll explain. Done. I click on this, activate. First, let me test it, then I'll explain. I'll refresh. Yeah, by default, which step is selected? Second step. Okay. So in the context, what is the value of the attribute step? Second only, na? Right? I'll click on this. Done. What happened? I got the third step, and even the view is also changing. Na? I'll click on this. I got what? First step, working fine. Na? Working fine. Done. If you're at the third step, if you don't want to come here, you give a message. Already at what? What? Final step. Or if you are at the third step, you have to disable this button. You have to disable the button. But at this stage, we don't know how to enable or what? Disable. So again, that will come under dynamic programming. Am I clear? So now let me debug, then you will understand. Okay. So I'll put the breakpoints in WD to init method. I'll also put the breakpoint in what? On action. Next step. Done. Okay. So when I execute, what is the default thing you want? Second step should be selected by default. So it is going to WD do init method. First of all, I have to get the reference of the node now. I have to get the reference of what? Node. That reference I'm putting in what? Global, not this, sorry, not this, this one. This one. Okay, it is initial as of now. So when I say F6, did I got the reference of that node? Yes. What is the lifetime of this attribute? Throughout the main view, throughout the main view, because I declare it as what? Main view attribute now, right? We are in the WD do init method of what? Main view. Done. Okay. If it is bound, what I am doing here, I am making the second step to be selected by default. Done. Okay. And then I am firing the outbound plug. This is understood. Done. So in the context, what is the current value of the attribute step? Second. Understood? In the context, the current value of the attribute step is what? Second. I'll click on this. What is the event triggered? So I'm performing the action on the button of main view. So in the main view only, yeah, it's going to what? On action event of which view? Main view. Done. Right. This is the global reference now. Is it available still? Yes, it is still available. I need not get the reference. Once again. Done. Now see here. What is the agenda here? I have to identify the currently selected step now. To identify the currently selected step, I have to read the value of the attribute what? Step. Okay. So if you see LV underscore str, as of now it is blank. Okay, by using that node reference, I'm calling which method? Get attribute. I'm passing the attribute name. It returns the value of that attribute. When I say F6, good. What is the value I got? Second. Okay, so what I am doing now? I am writing some case statement. When first are not satisfied. When second. Okay, so what is the currently selected step? Second. So since I clicked on the next, it should show me the third view now. So that's why I'm firing which view? Third view I am firing. I am firing the outbound plug, which is linked to what? Third view. So it might have been plugged. It might have been fired. Then in the context, what is the value of the attribute? Still what? Second only, na? I am moving it. I am changing it to what? What? Third. This is only at the variable level change, but I have to update the context also, na? So after end case, what I am doing here by using the node reference, I am setting back the attribute value to what? The modified value. What is this? Third. I got third. Right? So in the context, what is the value of the attribute step now? Third. Understood? Because I manipulated the context. The same process I have done it here also. Done. So again I'm identifying. See the value of currently selected step. What is the currently selected step? Third. So since according to my requirement, I want clockwise direction. So I want to go to what? First. So when third. Done. I am firing which view? I am firing the outbound plug to navigate to what? View 1. Okay, it might have fired. I am manipulating this value to first. I have to update in the context level now. I am updating it. Done. I got. Done. Huh? So all the outbound plugs are fired from what? Main view only. All the outbound plugs are fired from main view only. Similarly, you have tried the logic for what? Previous. Similar kind of logic, na? So let me just quickly do that. Yeah, I'll just copy this logic. Same logic, na? Control C. I'll go to the corresponding what? Event handler method. Yeah. Same story here. What is that? If it is bound, identify the currently selected step. Done. When first, what I have to do? Anti-clockwise. So it should go back to the third step now. Fire outbound plug to navigate to what? Third view. So what I have to say? To what? V3. And set this value to what? Third. Okay. When second means fire outbound plug to navigate to what? First view. To what? V1. And this also I'll set to what? First. Then when third, fire to navigate to what? Second view. Second view. To what? V2. And this is what? What? Second. Sorry. Second. You have to manipulate the context also, na? Yes, I modified. Done. Save it. Check it. Activate this. Done. By default, second step. Next, working fine. Right? I'll click on previous. V2. Okay. V2. Done. Working fine. Is it clear? Done. Now I want one more requirement here. What is this? We are able to navigate in what? Forward direction, what? Back direction. I should allow the user to directly select the step also. As of now, which step is selected? First step. Now I should directly click on the step. Am I able to select? No. Understood? So I have to enable that functionality. I should enable the user to directly select the step. So what I'll do, I am performing the action on what? Roadmap view element. Na? I am performing the action on roadmap view element. So what I'll do, go back to the main view. Go back to the main view. In the layout level, for the roadmap view element, there is a property called as what? Sorry, there is an event called as what? On select. Okay, I'll just click on this. I'll give the action name. I'll give it as what? Selected step. Some description. Navigate to what? Selected step. So save it. So what is the change I have done? I have defined what? One action for which event? On select event. So let me check whether any change is there in the appearance. Done. See here? Understood? Earlier it was not there. Now I can select. So if I click on this, what should happen? In the context, I have to set the attribute value to what? Third. And I have to show which view? Third view. Or if I click on this, second view, like this. Okay. So what is the event triggered? On select. So there is an action available now. If you go to the actions tab, selected step is action again. What is the corresponding event handler method? On action, action name. On action, action. This one enough. Let me double click on this. So what I have to do now? What I have to do? In the next button and previous button, we are identifying the currently selected step by reading which attribute? Step. But here randomly the user will select na. So see the technique. Identify the identify the directly selected step. Am I clear? So I cannot read the value of the attribute here. If I read the value, you will not get the proper this thing because the user might select any of the step na. So it is not reflected in the context. So what is the technique you have to do is, again, if you go back to our object oriented concepts, in object oriented, events can contain what? Exporting parameters. Those parameters are imported by what? Event handler method. So when I select a step here, what is the event triggered? On selector. When I directly select a step, what is the event triggered? On select. What is the corresponding event handler method got created? On action followed by action name. So that on select event might export some parameters which are imported by this event handler method. What is the parameter imported? WD event. Am I clear? Events exports parameters which can be imported by what? Event handler method. So here it is automatically imported. What is that parameter name? WD event, which is a reference. So this is a reference basically here. It is a what? Reference of which class? CL underscore WD underscore custom underscore event. So this is the object of this class. Now, if I go to this class, this class has got many instance methods. Let me navigate to that. It has got many instance methods. One of the method is what? Get underscore what? String. Okay. What does it do? It takes the name as what? Input. It returns what? Value of what type? String type. So I'll be using this method. So see the technique here. Data what? LV underscore str type what? String. Am I clear? So I'll go to pattern. What is the object? What is the event parameter here? What is the event parameter? WD what? Event. What is the class? CL underscore WD underscore what? Custom underscore what? Event. What is the method I have to call? Get underscore what? String. Get underscore string. Okay. Name. What is the name of your attribute? Step. What is the value? LV underscore what? STR. And then you write the logic. Case what? LV underscore STR. When what? First, what I have to do? What? Fire what? Outbound plug to navigate to what? First view. When what? Second, fire outbound plug to navigate to what? Second view. When what? Third, fire outbound plug to navigate to what? Third view. So here I'll fire it. What is that? WD underscore this of what? Fire underscore what? To V1 underscore what? PLG. Am I clear? So already we know these methods. Refer to that recordings. 2 underscore V2. W underscore this fire underscore what? 2 V3. Done. Then here I have to update my attribute value also. So here I'll say what? LV underscore str equal to what? What? First, I have to set it back to the context now because I'm directly selecting it. Here LV underscore str equal to what? What? Second. LV underscore str equal to what? Third. Okay. So now set the directly selected step to the what? Context attribute. So what is that? If WD underscore this of what? Context underscore roadmap underscore node is what? Bound. Same story. Am I clear? Set attribute. I'll go to pattern. WD underscore what? This, what is that? If WD context node, what is the method? Set underscore what? Attribute. Value is equal to what? LV underscore step. What is the attribute name in the context? Step. Okay, so what is the understanding here? Whenever we directly select the step on the roadmap, what is the event triggered? On select. That on select will export some parameters which are automatically imported by your event handler methods. This parameter is object of a class. In this class, there is a method called as what? Get string, which will return the what? Step value. So I'm receiving in a very local variable, I'm setting it. I'm firing the outbound flux, I'm doing that. Okay. So if you observe now, let me activate this. Done. So let me just go to previous working fine. Next is also what? Working fine. Okay. Now first step is this one. I'll click on what? Directly what? Third step. Are we getting? Yes. I'll click on second step. Yes. First step. Am I clear? So here I'm just displaying the static text, but here I can display what? Any content. It can, this views can contain any of the UI elements. So this is the functionality of what? Roadmap UI element. Okay, so what is the important property for roadmap UI element? Yes, selected step. What is the event for that? On select. Is it clear? So anyhow, again, one more example will come on roadmap view element. When we go to FPM, we have a concept called as FPM. There again, we'll be using what? Roadmap. There, I'll take the complex UI elements. Here I just took what? Some static text. Okay, so that part will be discussed in what? FPM. Am I clear? So this is important. This is a event handler parameter. Okay, that event exports the parameter which is imported by what? Our event handler method. If your business logic is based on that parameter, you use it and call the appropriate methods to get the values. Done. So I'm done with the session. If you have any questions now, please ask me. Requires practice. Okay.
Can you do the navigation from V1 to V2, V2 to V3 like that previous example we did?
Here also.
Here we are navigating from main to.
Yeah. Here what you can do is, okay, assume that this is v1 v2 v3. I clicked on the next button which is available on the main view. Okay, what you can do here, in this view we are having some buttons. After entering the data, I'll click on this. So if your requirement is go to this, here only you fire what? Outbound plug. But again, since you are navigating from view 1 to what? View 2, here I require what? Outbound plug in what? View 1. That should be linked with what? Another inbound plug of what? View 2. That concept remains same. Yes, I can do it. But generally, we'll do it from the main view only. Whenever we go for this kind of requirements, we'll navigate between the sub views from the main view only, not from here. What we will do here is, whatever the data entered in this sub view 1, I should able to access in what? Sub view 2. But actual navigation you'll do it from what? Main views only. But data exchange is possible. So data exchange means already we know how to exchange the data. We have to maintain the context at what? Component level, which can be used across the views or through plug parameters. But since I'm not firing the plugs from here, I'll maintain the context at what? Component level. Understood? So that's what we can do here. Any questions? Done? So I'll wind off. We'll continue tomorrow with another scenario. Chalo.